Welcome back, brother. You're watching Igor Kuznetsov, and in this video I'm going to share with you 3 books that changed my entire life. Reading is one of the things that ever since I was a child I was forced to do, and I've absolutely despised it. I was forced to read classic literature, which just meant nothing to me, like these fiction books which I despised. But only recently did I get back into reading, and I have to say I credit much of my current success to reading. Reading is such a powerful thing, and there's a famous quote, "A book is like a gift you can open again and again." And this is absolutely true. So in this video, I'm going to share with you 3 books that changed my entire life and my entire life trajectory. And I promise you, bro, if you read these for yourself, you're going to thank yourself in the future. So let's begin with the first book. So starting our list off with number 1 is How to Win Friends and Influence People by Dale Carnegie. This is one of the greatest social skills books I've ever read. And I personally started reading this book because, you know, the famous YouTuber Hamza Ahmed, he recommended it to me, and it's an amazing book. It talks about how to treat people, how to get people to like you, how to become a more genuinely sociable and likable person overall. Because I have to say, my social skills used to be garbage. They were completely terrible. But after reading this book, it's kind of set me on the right path. I've become a lot more interested in other people, and I've noticed that people have started to like me more because I've started to become less narcissistic. I pay more attention to what people say, and I know how to deal with arguments. I know how to deal with enemies. I know how to treat people so they feel respected, like they belong, like they're a good friend. And this book, man, I really recommend you go and read it for yourself. I do have to admit, it's very hard to understand. The language that's used in the book is a little bit complicated. It's very like prehistoric almost, because this book is quite old. It's from 1936, written by Dale Carnegie. And ever since I was a child, my dad has recommended this book to me. But it contains all of the knowledge you need to start improving your social skills. So if you're a guy who lacks in this skill, read this book, man. You'll have trouble understanding it at first, so you have to reread it multiple times. But I have to recommend this book to you. This is one of those things that I really wish I could gift to someone. This is an amazing book to gift to your friends, to your family, because it truly sets you on the right path in this very important skill of relationships and people in general. So that's number 1. All right, number 2 on our list. This is The Way of the Superior Man by David Dieter. This is by far my favorite book on this list, man. If there's any book that resonates with me the deepest, it's The Way of the Superior Man by David Dieter. This is a spiritual guide to mastering the challenges of women, work, and sexual desire. This is one of those books that kind of encapsulates who I am as a man. Ever since I moved to Australia, I've always had trouble with explaining myself and why I act the way I act. I believe in traditional masculinity and the traditional masculine values of, you know, being the leader in the family, being purposeful, being strong, etc., being stoic. And I had trouble with this when I moved to the Western world because I feel like these values in the Western world are slowly deteriorating. And this book gave me finally an excuse to be myself. It gave me this Bible that I could read and understand and could follow properly. And this book not only talks about your purpose as a man, but it also talks about women, which is a very important thing in life again. And you know my YouTube channel, I make a lot of relationship advice, and a lot of it is based on this book, because this book is a very spiritual guide and it talks about what men and women truly desire. So if you want to be better with women, bro, this is the number 1 dating book you need to read. Forget about all that nonsense like, you know, there's top 7 ways to make girls like you. No, bro, don't watch those videos constantly. Read this book. This book is just a solid foundation. It's like the root of a tree. It'll help you grow and become a better man in life. It talks about your purpose, about your true inherent masculine values and who you want to be as a man. If you're interested in that, bro, number 1 book. It's not even that expensive, man. And on the blurb it even says, finally a guide for the non-castrated male. This book will offend and infuriate some, inspire and test others, but challenge virtually everybody. Few are the books that discuss strong sexuality with strong spirituality. Love it or loathe it, it is a shout from the heart of one perspective of the eternal masculine. This is truly encapsulates what the book is about. It's very spiritual. So if you want to read this book, go ahead, read it, man. It's a very easy read as well. It's so like dopamine fulfilling, man. I got through this book in 1 week. That shows how fun it is to read. So that's number 2 on our list. All right, and finally, the 3rd book on our list. And bro, I don't know if I should share this with you genuinely, because this book has literally been banned from some prisons because of how powerful it is and how dangerous it can be. But this is The 48 Laws of Power by Robert Greene. This is, in my opinion, one of the most eye-opening books I've ever read. It's so psychologically powerful and it's so impacting. After reading this book, I was blown away. I was like, this is how people gain power. Power is such an important aspect of a male's life, especially if you're getting into the whole business, entrepreneur, if you want to become, famous, this is one of those books that helps you learn about power and how to assert dominance over others. Just as this book can be used for positive, it can also be used for bad and negative and evil. So you need to be really careful with how you use this book. You have to use it morally, because some people literally psychopaths use some of the things in this book. So this book, man, it's very controversial, but I really recommend you give it a read because it teaches you a lot about life. It teaches you how to analyze people. It teaches you perspicacity, which is one of the most important skills you need to have as a man. It teaches you how to be not prone to manipulation. So if you're aware of all these 48 laws of power, you'll be able to analyze people and you'll be able to become a more powerful person who has influence over others and who is in general more like. Just as this book can be used for business, it can be used for social skills, people, and everything in between. And Robert Greene does a fantastic job of condensing all of that difficult information into one small book. So I really recommend you begin with this condensed version. There's actually a longer one, which is like this thick, which I haven't grown to yet, because this one is already so information dense. I can't even imagine how information dense the bigger one is. So begin with this smaller version, give it a read, and let me know in the comments how you found it. This is an amazing read, and it definitely opened my eye to the world. Now let's begin with honorable mentions. And as for honorable mentions, man, I really wanted to mention these books because since you're watching this video, you might as well get the real deal. You might as well see all the books that you should read. But this one is Rich Dad Poor Dad. I've done a review on this book many months ago, if you've seen that on my YouTube channel, but this is a great intro to wealth creation and how to actually avoid the rat race, how to escape the 9-to-5, how to learn about the secrets of the millionaire success. But this book, man, is a great intro, especially for teenagers. If you're a teenager, read this book. It definitely opened my eyes to the whole wealth creation and escaping the 9-to-5. It teaches you about what the rich teach their kids about money that the poor and middle class do not. So you can already tell this is going to be a banger. This is a great book, man. Definitely taught me a lot about that. The next book on our list is Think and Grow Rich. I'm still reading it, bro. Can you see like right here? I haven't even finished reading it. It's by Napoleon Hill, but I can already tell you this is an amazing book. If you don't know, to get rich, you need to set yourself a great mindset. And this book is exactly what teaches you mindset. It teaches you about how rich people think. Because to become something, you need to think it. You need to think like the rich to become rich. You can't just, become suddenly rich out of nowhere. This teaches you about all the ways that rich people think and how to actually amass wealth in your future. And I've already started reading this, man, and I'm loving it. I'm genuinely loving it, and I'll definitely do a review on it in the future. So let me know what you think. So definitely pick up this book, think about it, and if you want to escape the 9-to-5, this is what you need to read. And the third honorable mention, which I just had to mention, I don't actually have a physical copy of this book, but I did read it as a PDF. This is The Millionaire Fastlane. This is by far my favorite wealth book, my favorite money book. It's such an eye-opening book. It teaches you about how the middle class work, about how the rich people think, and it just condenses it all so well. I love the author and how he talks about it. He's very satirical almost, and it's great for teenagers to read and learn about how to amass wealth in their future. But that's all I wanted to say for today, bro. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you want to see more videos like this and more book reviews, comment down below and book a one-on-one call with me. I'm doing one-on-one calls right now if you need help on these books. So definitely click the link in the description. Hurry because it's going to run out soon. And I hope you enjoyed this video, and I'll see you in the next one. Пока, брат.